And we are live. Thank you for joining me today on this edition of Joy Story. Very excited to spend the morning with you, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you're at in the world. And it's always good to be with you, and I appreciate my sanctuary family. We are metal, we are family, and yes, we are. So, folks, thank you for joining me. As you tune in, let me know where you're from. I always like to know that and love to see who's here. And good morning, my friend. There he is. Good to see you. We spent some time at Audio Feed together. It was really good to see you there, and I'm glad you joined me today. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, and Kara's here. I knew it. Kara, thank you for being so faithful. She's always here with us, and always good to see you, Kara. Thank you for joining me. Folks, let me know that you're here. Tell me where you're from. That would be kind of fun, too. Zach is here this morning. He says, I'm in Florida for vacation. Wow, that sounds really good. And you picked a really humid time, too, to be on vacation, didn't you? It's a little bit humid there, I'm sure. But Zach, how fun! So Disneyland, Disney World, all of that stuff, probably. That's awesome. Clara's here. Good to see you from the UK. Good friend there. Good to see you this morning. And Juanito is here from Puerto Rico. Thank you for joining. You know, it's such a great international family. I love that about this family, and how cool to have people joining from all over the world. Well, Jim Laverde is supposed to be my guest this morning. He is yet to show up. He lives a whole mile from me. Um, his internet isn't working real well, so he was going to come over and use ours, and I haven't seen him yet, and we'll see if he remembers. Huh? Kara said, my husband and I celebrated 19 years of marriage yesterday. Good for you. Kara, that's awesome. And you have a wonderful family. You homeschool your kids. You're doing well. So proud of you and so happy for you. Happy anniversary. That is awesome. Good for you. And Tim, good to see you, my old friend. He says you're awesome. You're awesome. Yes. And Tim, that's awesome. Good to see you today. John Cassandro. Love you, dude. I think I need to start drinking coffee. Good morning. I think you do too, John. That would be a good idea. And we got to get you some Headbangers Brew. That would be important. Looking forward to seeing John at the Immortal Festival. John's the one that's been doing all the great artwork for the festival. Great, great job, John. And great festival coming up. Jerry Anderson, my old friend. Hi, Pastor Bob. Long time I don't get on. Yes. Other than teachings, you rock. How's the homeless doing and the ministry? Thank you for asking. And it's been tough, to be honest with you. A lot of new regulations, the homeless being pushed around a lot, and we're struggling to keep up with all of them. But, God guides and provides, and I'm glad that he does. So we're still we're still doing it, and we're still excited to be on the cutting edge of the homeless ministry here in Nashville. Absolutely. Folks, if you're joining me, let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're from and that you've joined me. Rodney Jeffrey is here. Good morning from Australia. Have such great friends in Australia. And Rodney, thank you. Thank you for being one of them. And we, uh, we have such exciting things in the future planned. That's all I'm going to say. But hope to see you one day there in Australia once again. Dwayne says, good morning, watching from Branson, Missouri. My good friend from Branson. And I always say every week, I know that I love Branson. It's one of my favorite places. That's awesome. I'm glad you're here, Dwayne. Awesome. Chris Taylor, good morning from Bloomington, Indiana. Awesome. So, Indiana, I have a good friend from Indiana that's coming to visit me today. He's the sound man and stage manager, I believe, for Casting Crowns. They're coming through today, and I'm excited to see my friend Phil when he comes through. He's from Indiana as well. Great state, great place to live, isn't it? That's awesome. Juanito says, "Can you please put the band I play with you in your prayers because we debut this upcoming Saturday, the 30th. How exciting! Well, that's awesome. Good for you. And how exciting to be able to perform and to present your material and to present things you've worked so hard at. That's awesome. Good for you. Glad to hear that, Juanito. Awesome. Albert is here. Good morning from Winnipeg, Canada. And, whenever I think of Winnipeg, I think of very cold. You're not cold right now, though. It's the wrong time of the year. But Albert, good to see you too. Great. Gacelia is here from Germany. We have 4 p.m. Yes, you do. It's 4 p.m. there. You're in the latter part of the afternoon. And, you know, the time zone kind of catches us at different places. So when I say good morning, it really means good afternoon for you, doesn't it? But good to see you here from Germany. So many great friends in Germany. And I've spent such great time there. I appreciate all of my friends there. Awesome. Can you discuss any plans for relaunch of Intense Radio? You know, John, I'm excited about it, and we're still putting all of the finishing touches together. I'm hoping you're going to be part of it too. And our producer, who's on the other side of this, I'm going to invite him to come on with me in just a minute. But our producer, Jake, is going to kind of head it up, and we've got some very interesting plans for it, not just a run of the mill station again. But John, you were one of the DJs on Intense Radio way back in the day, weren't you? And I would love to have you involved again. John's got one of those voices that is great for radio. And they say I have the perfect face for radio. I know. Who knew? Who knew? Absolutely. Folks, sign in with me if you would. Let me know who you are, where you're from. Would love to greet you for just a minute before we get started. Austin is here. Good morning from right down the road in Murfreesboro. Austin, by the way, I'm going to be in Murfreesboro. I think it's Sunday, August 7th at Just Love Coffee. We're going to have kind of a get together and fancy coffee with Pastor Bob afternoon. And so kind of watch the social media for that. It'll be 2 p.m. August 7th at Just Love Coffee there in Murfreesboro. Excited to meet some of our friends in Murfreesboro. We have some things planned in Murfreesboro I can't talk about yet, but I will share them on that Sunday. So, Austin, please come and be part of that if you would. Love to meet you, love to shake your hand, love to tell you some exciting things. That would be awesome. Great. Chris Keene is here, my good friend. Good morning from cool, overcast Azusa, currently 64. That sounds really good, Chris, because we're a little warmer than that with a lot of humidity, and you know how that goes here. And Chris is on the sanctuary staff and has been for, gosh, Chris, 35, 36, 37 years, whatever it's been. Long time. And he's the coolest guy. Just saying. Just saying. He is. So, welcome, Chris. Good to see you. James is here. Good morning from rainy Colorado. From rainy Colorado to rainy Nashville. We're supposed to have rain for the next 7 days straight now. So, we're kind of getting saturated, aren't we? You're probably feeling the same way. Love Colorado, by the way. Love, love, love Colorado. Awesome. Well, folks, thank you for joining me today. It is so good to have you here. And our special guest has not shown up. But I was going to have our producer join me next week. And I moved him to this week. We'll just have you come on with us. Jake, this is Jake Adams, the coolest guy. See, I told you, he's the coolest guy. There he is.
Indian TV.
Jake, I thought it might be cool for people to get to know you. You know, you're behind the scenes. Jake is the one that makes this production work, and he's great at it. And Jake, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, but you actually have a degree in this, don't you?
On paper, yes. On experience, no. All production is you just fake it till you make it. There's always a wildfire going on somewhere, and we're just mitigating the mess.
Yeah. But so, Jake, you're a graduate of Liberty University. Your degree says what?
Let me think of this. It's Bachelor's of Science in Digital Media Communications with an emphasis in audio.
Wow. That's a mouthful. It sounds really impressive. Just saying.
I push buttons and make things loud. That's really what it boils down to.
Well, you're at the right place then, because that's the way things work here.
Yeah.
You know, the louder the better. We do metal.
Of course. You have to have that energy.
Which is why I can't hear anymore.
Huh?
You see? Well, Jake, give us a little bit of your story. You're not from Lynchburg.
No.
Tell us a little bit about your journey. You were born a poor black child. Did you ever see The Jerk?
No.
The movie? Oh, dude, it's so funny. And that's how he starts it out. Because a black family adopted him and he didn't know he wasn't black. But anyway.
No. I was born and raised in the swamplands of Southwest Florida, about an hour and a half south of Tampa.
Awesome.
No one knows Port Charlotte and Inglewood, which is where I grew up. So I say the Sarasota area, and they're like, "Oh, we kind of know." And so, yeah, it's the middle of nowhere where people vacation.
Yeah, but it's a great area. I know the Sarasota area really well.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Great place to grow up, isn't it?
It was fun. I call it God's waiting room for a reason. It is a retirement community. It's not a whole lot of stuff to do when you're growing up, but we made the best of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you grew up there and you migrated to where?
So I grew up there and I moved here in 2015. So I've been here, actually next month will be 7 years. And actually my background is medicine. And I went to massage school in Sarasota and studied medicine. And that's what God was leading me towards. And then he's like, "Nah, you're going to do this." I'm like, "All right, fine. I'll quit hardening my heart and making my hobbies my career."
Well, dude, and it just makes sense. Why do medicine when you can do broadcasting?
So, funny story with that. I went to KCF last month, met some fantastic people.
Yes.
I helped David Padicone and Monica Solia-Vasidi. Like, those are some of my best friends I met there. But unfortunately, Monica, she's the vocalist for Vasidi. She was going through heat exhaustion. She was not heat stroke, but I'm like, I've been doing first aid since high school. So like all my medical training finally kicked in. So I was helping with redemption stage, setting up, tearing down all the sets, and then helping her so she didn't have to go to the hospital.
Wow. So you were her first doctor on call.
Yeah, I mean there was physicians there, but they weren't there yet because this was like the first day before anything started, and it was hot in Indiana. We were in
Oh yeah.
central Indiana, so it was really hot that weekend. And they said it was record heat, but I'm like, I grew up in Southwest Florida. Like this is cold to me.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So medicine to broadcasting.
Yeah,
Did you ever regret that?
no. Because I mean, I grew up and I had viral encephalitis twice, which boils down to inflammation of the brain. So I have slight nerve damage on my right side. Dealt with that my entire life. So I grew up in hospitals, and I just got used to being in medicine and was around people who were in it and who were mentoring me. I
Ah,
love medicine, I still do. But music, broadcasting, all that was always a hobby. It's what I did growing up with friends in church back home. And I'm like, you know what? This is just fun hanging out with friends doing this, but God has me doing medicine. And then
mm,
in 2015, God said, I need you to move to Lynchburg. You need to go to Liberty University. And I said, no, like I was never going to leave Florida. I'm studying medicine here in the University of South Florida in Tampa. God was working on my heart. He opened up these opportunities. I said, all right, fine, let's go. It sounds like an opportunity. And I was studying medicine, athletic training. Um, and then God said, after mixing my major a few times between medicine and criminal justice, biomedical sciences, I saw Skillet at Winterfest a few years ago and had VIP tickets. So it was me and then John Cooper was like right here. And
mm.
God said,
Great band.
oh, yeah, they're fantastic.
Yes, they are.
Um, but God said, you need to do this. I have plans for you. You need to quit hardening your heart. You just need to shut up and obey what I'm trying to tell you. And I said, you know what? Let's do it. Because I was having issues with school financially. Financial aid was a big hassle. Um, and so I'm like, you know what? I don't think I'm supposed to do medicine anymore. I'm going to make my hobbies my career. And school was smooth sailing after that.
Wow. Because you just had to, I think sometimes the biggest difficulty is not necessarily coming up with funds and all that kind of stuff. It's knowing exactly what God's doing.
Right.
Because where God guides, He provides, and you got to know where He's guiding, don't you?
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
took me a long time to figure out. But God speaks to me from my past. Like He'll drop little hints here and there and be like, see, I told you, you just weren't listening.
Ah,
And that's how He talks to me. And it's just cool
yeah.
seeing how everything unfolded from bringing my hobbies, my career to what I'm doing now, because this is like a dream come true.
Dude, it's a dream come true for us. You have definitely filled a hole that we had and somebody to do our producing, and you've done a great job. And it's been really fun. It's been really great to work with you.
Yes, I've enjoyed every minute of this, and sometimes I'm like, God, is this a dream? But it's
Mm.
real. Meeting some
Well,
awesome people and just seeing what God is doing in this community because there is a lot of
yes,
growth.
absolutely. And we're seeing more and more and more that God is doing to provide. So, Jake, you and I have talked about this a little bit, but I've really devoted most of my time in the last 23 years uh, to getting Christian metal kind of established in Europe. In 1999, we started Bob Fest, the first Christian festival there, Christian metal festival, and and out of that came 22 other festivals around the world. And so we spent so much time doing that, and metal had kind of died in the United States at that point. It just nothing was much happening. So I really didn't do hardly anything here in the United States. Um, we're backtracking now. We're we're doing fine internationally. Some great leadership, great festivals, great Bible studies. And then the United States, we've we kind of feel like in some ways we're starting all over. And so it's building piece by piece. And um, Jake, it's been so good to have you join us to help in that building process. And we're just kind of on the floor of building again. John Cassandra was just asking about, Intense Radio. John was a DJ on Intense Radio in the mid 90s, actually. So it's a long time ago, a long time ago. And had a great show. And it's when the internet was just really kind of being established. And I'm sure we were one of the first shows. We had to actually stop doing it because we just couldn't afford the bandwidth anymore. The more people that were listening, the more it would cost us. And we were getting thousands of people that were watching and or listening, excuse me. We just couldn't do it anymore. Of course, things have changed now, but that was those days. Now we're ready to go again. That's a real vision that you have as well, Jake. Talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, so I mean, going back to what my hobbies were and then making those my career, my program required me to do an internship and to graduate. And so I did the internship at the radio station on campus, and I volunteered for it because Liberty requires you have to do community service. They call it CSER, Christian service. To
Mm-hmm.
graduate, you have to do 20 hours every semester. I volunteered all my time at the radio station. Um, my last year, they moved the radio station to where the communications school is instead of across campus. They revamped the whole studio, and the new station director kind of just threw it on my lap. He's like, "Do you want an internship here?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I don't want to go looking for one and I don't have to move again. And so, my job and my friend Matt, we broadcasted Liberty hockey. I did color commentary, he did play by play, and so we brought Liberty hockey back to the radio
Oh
and
wow!
loved it. We got to talk to Coach Handy. Coach Handy's a fantastic coach. He's been
Yeah,
coaching them for over 20 years. Talking to the players, they were just super nice guys, and they all have a heart for God and just furthering the kingdom, and not just in hockey, but in just every other aspect of their life. So,
mm,
Liberty Hockey's program is fantastic. The whole coaching staff is amazing. But I loved radio. I loved being on my friends' shows because they had sports shows and all that, and doing just audio edits. Because audio is so powerful. Because even in Genesis, it speaks that God spoke the world into existence. He didn't.
yes,
He didn't paint it into existence. So it shows that audio is so powerful, and we can do so much with it if we know how to harness it.
absolutely. And you use a lot of your imagination with radio too, don't you?
Yes, because you
With
paint a
audio.
picture with audio because they can't see, so you have to do it with
Yeah,
words.
and that's what I like about it. I can say, I'm a 21-year-old blonde-headed surfer dude, and people would believe it because they can't see that. Well, I know I'm close, but not exactly. So you can imagine all kinds of things on radio, and I'm a huge fan of all the old radio shows from the you know 30s and 40s, um,
Yeah,
and I just think some of those old shows were because your imagination is peaked, and they were hilarious too. George Burns and Gracie Ellen, and then some of the Shadow, and some of the sci-fi shows, and all the really old ones. People stayed glued to the radio because more than you do with television, because you were using your own visuals and they're much bigger. Yeah,
yeah, you had to put your own imagination to it, and we kind of actually studied a little bit of that when I was in school. Like I did sound design,
yeah,
and so we had to learn like Foley art and stuff like that, and it was really interesting how they create. Like all the movies you watch are literally fake sounds. They engineer those sounds into something that's supposed to sound real. Most of the time, it's not its original sound.
yes, yeah, absolutely. So I used to work with the Nashville Film Festival years ago. I was on the board, and one of the things that I did, I was on the pre-screening board as well. And we literally got thousands of entries for movies that people wanted us to show. at the festival. And so, and I was still traveling a lot. So I would take all of these CDs, DVDs, excuse me, with me and all over the world. And when I was on airplanes and in hotel rooms and whatever, I would watch all of these movies that people submitted, to be shown. And the one thing that I noticed that kind of made the break between a good movie and a not so good movie was usually the music and the sound effects in the background. If they were done real well, the movie was absolutely enhanced and a whole lot better. That's kind of a make it or break it thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, being an audio guy, like the visuals, like if it's a bad visual, it's okay. But if the audio's not good, I'm not interested. Like I'll go back and watch old movies.
Yes.
I know I'm like, they did not do this well, or they did it to what they could for that time.
Yeah. But
Uh,
not real well. Yeah.
right. Oh, real quick, my mom actually just commented. So this is my mom. She watches the
Oh,
shows all the
great.
time. It's also her birthday Saturday, so happy birthday, Mom. I hope you're enjoying your vacation.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. Well, thank you for joining us. That's awesome. You know, moms are the best, dude.
She is one of my biggest supporters of what I'm doing. She's been through a lot with me, especially medically, so I know she's super thrilled to be living vicariously through me.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sure she's very proud of you, Jake. You're a good guy. And we're proud of you. We're excited to have you on board with Sanctuary. So, intense radio coming up, and we have a whole lot of projects right now, so we're not jumping on it really fast, but slowly but surely we're putting things together. You just did Kingdom Festival, and you did a lot of station IDs and things like that, and I know Matt Match has been collecting them as well, and we've got a lot of them left over from the old intense radio. We've got, gosh, everybody. So that's going to be fun. We got a lot of station IDs. All we have to do is fill it in with other stuff between the IDs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talk to Matt almost on a daily basis, and I mean, unfortunately, our lives have been really busy. We haven't talked a whole lot lately, but me and him need to go back and kind of figure out what we've been doing and what's next because there's a lot on the horizon, and I'm super excited for it.
Absolutely. And some really unique things. There are a lot of internet radio stations out there, and you may be thinking, why do one more when there are all these good ones? And I've been thinking that same thing, except I think there's some things that aren't being done that we can fill in, and
Right.
I'm excited for that. By the way, if you're into radio and you aspire to be a radio DJ, and you live anywhere around the world, we're going to be looking for people. One of the things that we'd love to do is have our DJs from all over the world playing music from their location, kind of letting us know what's happening there. And of course, call in shows, and just we want to make it interesting. Anybody can stay home and play a playlist. That's just exactly what you hear on the radio. You can do a Spotify playlist and probably get songs that more match exactly what you want to hear. It's not necessarily about just listening to music, it's everything that goes along with it. And our moniker, Jake, we are metal, we are family, is becomes even more important in radio because we we bring the family aspect into audio and into something that we're doing 24/7. So exciting days ahead.
Yeah, and you're still right about that. You say that we are metal, we are family, and just trying to build the community. Like you said, you spend a lot of your time in Europe trying to build the metal community out there, but it's needed here in America. I really think there's a heavy need for God's heart in the metal scene. And
Yes.
being at KCF last month, like the Holy Spirit was moving heavy, and that was just one small festival. Um, we're looking at doing Sturgis next year. Me and Match been talking about that for a while.
Yeah.
Potentially getting Sanctuary out there on a more official base at KCF and there's just a lot going on, and God is moving in this community, and it's now is a prime time to take control of all that.
Yes, it really is. And, we've been invited to so many festivals to do a sanctuary tent at other festivals besides audio feed. And I think we probably will. We've been planning Sturgis for a while, and I'm hoping that this next year, 2023, will be the year for that. And uh, exciting things happening with that. Jake, my cousin died a couple of weeks ago. He was the president of Hell's Angels, and I'm excited to go there as his cousin uh, and present the gospel. And I think that's a great inroad there with the bikers. There's such a strong sense of family. I'm excited to represent our family, his family, and then represent our Christian family as well. I think that'll be great. And then, we've got a lot of things planned. There's a couple festivals in Nashville, one that we'd like to put together, actually. And it's going to take probably a couple more years before we're ready with that one, but just some great things in the future. So, um, Jake, as they say, stay tuned and we'll let you know all the details, right?
There's a lot going on. It's just little
Yeah.
bits at a time.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Well, folks, if you're just joining us, let us know. I don't know if we've heard from all of you. I'd love to know that you're here. I'd love to know where you're from. If you have any questions for me or for Jake, ask Jake the hard questions, by the way, because he's a lot smarter than me. But give me some easy ones if you have some, and and we'll try to answer them. So, but Jake, I'm very excited for Intense Radio, and we're probably just a little bit away from it still.
Yeah,
But
still a lot of work to do, but it's developing.
yes, yes, it is developing, and definitely developing, and we're excited. It's not just putting a radio station together; it's putting a family, uh, um, how should I say, a family ministry together, because it is a way to connect people and to connect them live, and that's pretty much what Intense Radio will be: connecting people, turning it on, and feeling like you're part of what's going on, and the opportunity to be part of it live. Yes.
Yes. Um, Actually, here's Monica. This is my friend I helped out at KCF.
Oh,
Um,
good.
she, and this is why we became really good friends, is because she has the same heart for ministry I do, and that's what her band Deity is all about, is bringing community together. So it's just amazing to see these bands
That's
do what
awesome.
they're doing too. And I remember telling her at KCF that there's something strong going on with her and with Deity, and God is going to do some amazing things. And that was before I really knew her as a friend, but God is moving through her and through her music too, and it's just fantastic to see that.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see more,
Gary,
Gary.
so technically the church I grew up in was technically Northport, because it was right on that edge between Northport and Port Charlotte, if you know the area, and it was Lighthouse Baptist. Yeah, so I grew up in a Baptist church.
Cool.
It was interesting. I've got plenty of youth group stories. Maybe we'll do a segment on that someday, especially the infamous knife story.
Yeah. That would be awesome. Well, we got to do that.
You just let me
That
know.
would be interesting. Yes, that would be interesting. Folks, if you have questions or comments, bring them on. And again, the hard ones, go to this guy right here. He's able to answer all the tough questions you have. If you have some really tough theological questions that nobody else can answer,
Wrong way. There you go. You're getting better.
yes. Awesome. Well, Jim Laverde never showed up today. He will hitherto be known as Dirty Laverde. Just saying.
I'll
He's
email
on
him.
our dirty list now. Just saying. I think so, because that's 2 weeks now. We're not going to advertise him again, are we? He's done. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, Charles. Yes. Unfortunately, there is no metal scene in Florida. Like I grew up on the coast in a retirement community. There's live music, but it's like Jimmy Buffett style, and I can't do it.
Huh. Now,
Um,
how about like Ybor City and places where that have been very much metal?
well, Ebor just lost because my buddy Dale, we knew each other since high school. He's into metal too, and he would go to a lot of the shows at the Forium there, and I heard that
Yeah.
closed down. So I don't.
Really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah, I don't know what's going on back home as far as the Forium. I think they're relocating, but yeah, the
We've
metal.
done shows there.
Yeah, the metal scene in
Yeah.
Florida just isn't big, and I would love to do something,
Yeah.
which is why I don't think I'd ever move back to Florida because there's nothing there. The community's in the Midwest right now.
Well,
Sorry.
we need to get some stuff jump started, don't we?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We have lots of great friends in Florida, folks. Come on, let's get this going. We'll kind of kickstart it.
Yeah. Actually, DFM's from Jacksonville. They're North Florida, so they're not around the area I grew up in, and they're more on the eastern side because you got to cut across the state to get to Jacksonville from where I'm at. But yeah, there's still not a whole lot in Jacksonville though.
So, GFM, if you don't know, is gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Uh, Sisters that have one of the best metal bands around right now. I think they're really good. And I've had them on my other show twice, actually. And great, great ladies, and they're really getting popular. And they've been the opening act for some pretty big artists recently, and they're doing well. Yeah,
They kind of, in a way, headlined at KCF. I mean, Disciple was the big band there, but everyone
yeah,
was excited to see them. They put on a really good show too.
that's awesome. Yeah, they do. Yeah, very good band. If you haven't heard them yet, folks, check them out. Very good stuff. Jake, what haven't we talked about that we should?
Um,
Is there anything about the Jake Adams story that we need to know about? Because inquiring minds want to know.
well, the younger me in high school spent 4 years in ROTC because back to being in
Ah,
medicine, I wanted to enlist as a combat medic. And then the week that I graduated high school, they denied me on medical. I spent 4 years in ROTC and was lied to by my recruiter. And that kind of what set me into just having the determination to really fight for anything that I'm really trying to go for, even if God closes
yes.
the door, because that was really my foundation for myself.
Wow, that's a big disappointment for you, wasn't it?
It really was because God closed that door heavy, and I tried to open it back up. So when God closes doors, don't try and open them
No,
because
no,
He'll open
that,
them for you if you're supposed to go back into it.
wow, that must have been a difficult thing for you. I'm sure.
Monica, what are you talking about? What else happened at KCF? Are we talking about Petticone's tattoo incident? So David Petticone, he is one of the artists I met there. I met him and Monica at the same time. Monica featured on one of his wow, songs, and he just got a tattoo done. And the artist didn't cover it up, didn't give him anything for it. And I happened to have my stuff with me, and so I gave him that, and it worked out for him. KCF is in the middle of a cornfield in Indiana. It's
Yeah.
30 minutes from civilization. And so it was just cool that I had that. And God told me even before then, um, buy a first aid kit because you're going to be needing it. And I'm like, okay, I need a first aid kit anyway because I figured you're working a stage, things can happen. So
Yeah.
I did. And then that's when Monica wound up getting sick. And so just having first aid kick in.
Well,
So,
you were Johnny on the spot.
yeah.
That's awesome, dude. That's cool. Well, folks, we're winding down. This has been a great time to spend together. And with one of my favorite people, Jake Adams. It's been awesome to have you join us on this side of the camera,
Yeah.
you know.
Um,
And
I do a lot of sweating on this end when things go wrong. Trust me. Like I said, production is nothing but a wildfire going on, and we're trying to make it
Yes.
a mess.
There's so many factors that can either make it or break it. And we've had make it and break it, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah. We've run
Because
into some difficulties, but I love it
yes,
though.
it's been good. And lots of great things in the future. And we're excited for Intense Radio one day soon and all the great things. Folks, just a few things coming up. We're talking about festivals. The Immortal Festival is coming up in Ohio the first weekend of September. Um, Actually, my friend Chris Jericho is going to be hosting the shows with me, and we'll be hosting some great old bands, Barren Cross and White Cross and Sacred Warrior, and just a whole bunch of great bands that you probably haven't heard for a while. And a lot of them haven't been together for a while. A lot of them are getting back together just to do this. You know, Michael Bloodgood is still in the hospital, and by the way, recovering fairly well. And he's beginning to speak a bit and doing a whole lot better. Um, but Les Carlson, the singer for Bloodgood, has put together some original material with the original band, and he'll be performing, and just a lot of great times getting together there. So, if you can fit in another festival at the end of the summer, first week of September, the Immortal Festival, and John Cassandro, if you're still out there, maybe you can give us the URL for that festival.
Wrong one. Just coming in too quick.
It's okay. For tickets, there you go. Great. Great, great, great. And John, how about a URL also?
Yeah, John. If you
That
give me
would
a
be
URL, I'll pull it up real quick.
great. That would be awesome. Great festival. And a lot of good things coming up this year. And we'll be announcing more and more things as we go. But we're excited that God is moving, and we're excited to bring Christian metal back in the United States and giving it a little more of a kickstart that it really needs. So we're happy to do that. And there you go. There it is. And it's a bmieventcenter.com. And that's the location where the festival is. And folks, it'd be great to see you there. It'd be great to see you there. So, Mr. Jake, thank you so much for not only being the best producer around, but thank you for joining me and giving a little bit of your story. And we're going to have to pull you on this side of the camera a little more often. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, I can definitely do it. I can multitask.
You can, I know. That'd be awesome. Well, folks, again, thanks for joining us today. And we'll be back next week for another joy story. God bless you.